everyone. This is Angelique with My Angelique Crystal Reviews. I know I had been promising that I was going to do a recap of Game of Thrones. I apologize. I missed the first episode of season 8 on my recap. So, luckily, episode 2 of season 8 picked up right where we left off. And I'm sure everyone's seen it now. So, it picked off right where it left off. Jaime and Bronn with the stare down. And then Jaime walked into the council meeting. Oh my God. And you know I was nervous because the last time we had a council meeting, Littlefinger got taken right out. So I was on pins and needles for Jaime. But Jaime came in there. He confirmed that Cersei was not coming and looked right at Tyrion. And poor Tyrion had egg on his face week 2 because Cersei lied to everybody. So Dany went into this whole speech about how, her and her brother used to have conversations about what they would do to the man that killed their fire once they took back the Iron Throne. And then Sansa was like, well, he's not to be trusted. I saw what he's done, what he's done, everything he's done to the Starks and my father. And Jon really wasn't saying much because I think he just was like, I'm over it. But it was going downhill for Jaime until Brienne stepped in and vouched for Jaime. And Sansa was like, are you saying that you trust this man with your life? And Brienne confirmed. She was like, yes. And so Sansa was like, well, for me, I trust Brienne with my life. And if she trusts her life with Jaime, then well, fine. He'll be on the team. And so Daenerys was looking like, how she gave Sansa a look. And so Jon didn't say nothing. He was like, whatever that Sansa believed, let's just go on with it. Because he left the table and Jaime was like, it's about survival. So he was able to get in based on Brienne coming to the rescue and stepping in and vouching for him. So then we move on to Mormont and Daenerys. So Mormont told Daenerys, you need to check yourself basically before you wreck yourself. So here's what you need to do. You need to go talk. He advised her that you shouldn't be so hard on Tyrion because Tyrion made mistakes. And even though when we were in that boat together, I wanted to throw him in the river and call it a day and nobody else hear from him, he really gained his trust and his respect. So she should take it easy on Tyrion and not discount him just because he trusted his sister. It was family. That's what he made his judgment on. Then it was another person that he felt like she needed to have a conversation with. And we didn't know because they went to a different scene. So I'll come back to that. So then, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. So then Davos and the crew and Jon, they have a conversation and no, I take that back. Where am I? I apologize because I'm looking at my notes. Oh, so we finally get to the Jaime and Bronn conversation. So Bronn is at that red tree, and I forgot what it's called, but he's there. I call it the Bronn tree. So he's there, sitting in a wheelchair. He's talking, and then Jaime comes over. So he was like, well, can we go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room? Essentially, I want to apologize for what I did. And he was like, Bronn was like, or now the three-eyed raven, why are you apologizing? Because you did what you did for your family out of love. So why are you apologizing for that? Which was cool. But then they had this conversation about, Jaime's like all hopeful. Like, I think we're going to win this. We're going to come out on the other side. And Bronn was like, how do you know there's another side? Okay, that was so much innuendo. I was like, Bronn, third eye, aka third eye raven, what are you trying to tell Jaime? He not going to make it to the other side? So ever since Bronn made the change, it's like he knows stuff don't say anything. It's like, I don't understand this. So he gave that little innuendo, and Jaime was like, what the heck? What you trying to say? So then next we have, by far, this is one of my favorite scenes ever in Game of Thrones. So the other person that Mormont was talking about that Daenerys needed to talk to was Sansa. And you know, if you saw it last week, you saw Sansa wasn't feeling this whole Daenerys thing and how Jon had to give her the knee in order to get her to come. She wasn't thrilled with that. Okay, so then this week, they having the woman to woman conversation. Y'all, you may not know this old school R&B song, but it's called Woman to Woman. So they have this conversation. That's what that segment should have been called, Woman to Woman. So Daenerys comes all in, and then, you know, she asked, because she talked to Lady Sansa alone, because Lady Sansa was talking to her advisor, and she said, can we have the room? I was hoping we could talk one-on-one. So they sit down, and Daenerys was like, I apologize. I know this hasn't been easy with me coming in with Jon and so forth. And Sansa was like, you know, it's obvious Jon's in love with you. And men can do stupid things, essentially, when they can be, I'm sorry, let me use the right terminology. Sansa said men can be easily manipulated when they are in love. Break it down, Sansa, break it down. So Daenerys didn't even kind of respond to that. And she was like, you know, she started going off into, you know, at first I was on my way to take back the throne. And now I'm detoured and I'm here in Winterfell in the north trying to help this man fight this fight. So who captured whose heart, you know? And Sansa was like, okay. She's like, well, I apologize. I should have said thank you when I first met you for coming to help us with this fight. And so it was going very well, I thought. So, you know, Daenerys put her hand on Sansa and was like, no problem, you know. And then she was like, you know, I know this is going to be difficult, you know, with people in the north accepting me as the queen. And she was like, now this is where Sansa broke it down. Sansa was like, okay, when this war is all over, what's going to happen to the north? Are you getting ready to come in here and just, what are you getting ready to do? And so Daenerys took back her hand. And right then I said, oh my goodness, Sansa done called this woman straight on out. It was the best. So, you know, Daenerys was not feeling all of that. So she, you know, she got up and left. So then Tormund and the guys from the wall, they came back. They came back to report what had happened. They had went to the place last week. The White Walker got there. The Night King and the White Walkers got there before them and left a message. And so they had to go. The White Walkers are on their way to Winterfell. So they had to go basically all the way around the outskirts of where the White Walkers were to get to Winterfell to tell Jon they're on their way. And then they should be there like within a day's time. So, of course, Tormund, you know, Tormund got a thing for Brienne. So he was like, and where is that tall woman at? Pretty much, and you know, Brienne ain't trying to hear anything from Tormund. She's just looking at him like he's a nut, and he is. So they cut to that, and then Theon comes in, and so Sansa and Dany were there, and so Theon came back to say, we brought a couple of ships, but we didn't bring everything. My sister thought it would be best to go to this other place and reclaim it in Daenerys' name as the rightful queen. So Dany couldn't understand. Well, she was like, well, why aren't you with Yari? Why aren't you with your sister? And he said, because I pledge my allegiance to Lady Sansa. Y'all, if you all could have saw Daenerys' face when Theon pledged his allegiance to Sansa, because, you know, nobody can pledge their allegiance to anybody but the queen, but to her. So she was not, after they had that conversation too, she was so not feeling that. That was another nail on the coffin that she was not feeling. So that took place. So then the next scene is everybody's together. So Theon, Bronn, Mormont, Davos, Tormund, Jaime, Brienne, who else was there? Oh my goodness. Everybody was there. Everybody was in the room. Tyrion, everybody was in the room talking about the plan to attack the White Walkers. So basically from the angle that they were coming, Bronn, the Third Eye Raven, basically said the Night Walker, why he dropping this little nugget when he should have been telling people all along? They're connected. The Night King, the Winter King or the Night King, they're connected because he grabbed him. And so when he grabbed him, he basically has a connection to him. So he knows that the Night King is coming. The Winter King is coming. The Night King, he's coming for Bronn. So he said, okay, put me in this area of Winterfell because I know he's going to come because he wants me. That's all he wants. He wants me. So he's like, put me in this area. And then Ari's like, no, you can't defend yourself. You know, somebody's got to be there to help you. And so Theon pledges that he will be next to Bronn. So nobody had to worry about it. He will be there. Everybody could worry about their task and he will be there to take care of that. So side note, Ari and Gendry, you know, last week Ari asked Gendry to make her a weapon for this war. And so, you know, Gendry been making weapons for everybody. So he hasn't had time to make her particular weapon. Well, Ari showed up at the spot like, no, you about to make me you about to make my weapon. I don't care what you got going on, but you about to make my stuff. So I'm telling you, these women of Game of Thrones are no joke. Ari was like, you better make my weapon. And so she was asking Gendry what's this like? What are the White Walkers like? What is it? And he was like, it's like death. So going back to the meeting, so they came up with the plan. Tyrion wanted to be in the fight. And Daenerys said no. She told Tyrion he couldn't do it. She needed to be in the galley or in the bottom part of Winterfell to be there because if something happens, she needs a wise person, someone knowledgeable to be there for the aftermath. So after that, after everybody broke down the plan, they all looked around and you could cut the air with a knife because everybody at that point was like, we all, and I think Tormund said it, we all about to die. We all are about to die. So yeah, it really truly, I said the same thing as Tormund. I was like, oh, everybody about to die. So, of course, with Tyrion in this news, Tyrion was like, well, I'm about to go have a drink. Not a drink. I'm about to go have a drink. So he was in the wine cellar next to the fireplace where it was all warm and toasty. And then Jaime came down there. And it's like, you know, the brothers are back again. And he was like, Tyrion was like, I wish our father was here so he could see us fighting for Winterfell for the North. Because he probably would have a heart attack from that. Probably so. He probably would go back and get on that toilet again and get killed. Because this is not what he wanted. But it's happening. It's here. And so then Brienne and Dodrick, I always call him the apprentice, but Brienne and Dodrick come in and you know, Tyrion offers Dodrick and Brienne a drink. Come and sit with us. Come and chat. Let's talk. And so Roderick was like, okay, I'll have a drink. And Brienne was like, wait a minute. Brienne was like, hold up. You can't drink. The war can break out at any time. You cannot drink. And then Tyrion was like, come on, you know, this could be it. This could be the last hurrah. Let's sit and chat and drink and be merry. And so she was like, okay, you can have a half a cup. And Tyrion filled that cup all the way. He filled that cup so much it overflowed to the floor for poor Roger. For Roger. And he took it. So Brienne and Roger come in, and then next thing you know, who came in next? Davos, he came in next, and he was trying to warm his butt up because he was so cold. So he was all in front of the fireplace trying to warm his butt up. And then Tormund came in, and so they were all chatting. And the best part of the scene, Tormund was like, well, telling Brienne, why aren't you a knight? And she was like, it's not our custom. That's not our way. I can't be a knight. I'm a woman. And then Jaime was like, a knight can knight a knight. So Jaime knights Brienne. So she is Sir Brienne of whatever. But that was such a great moment. And let me tell you, so they showed everybody doing like their last hurrah for the night. That was so great. But I don't know about anybody else, but I'm ready for Jaime and Brienne to get it on. I'm sorry. I'm going to just say it. I'm going to say it. We all grown here. I'm just going to say it. I'm ready for them to have a relationship. And I feel like Jaime is in a better headspace now to do it. I mean, I just want him and Brienne to be together. I think they're two warriors. I think they are, I think they should just go and get it on. So they were doing that over there on that side. And then you see Theon and Sansa together, and they're having like a bowl of chili in the middle of the yard or whatever, just having a conversation. And then Arya and Gendry. Okay, so Arya asking Gendry how many women he been with. Was he with the Red Witch? She grilling him all the way down. And I'm trying to figure out my husband knew right away. I was clueless. I was like, well, why she keep asking? Why does she care what was going on with Gendry? Well, come to find out, Arya was like, well, if I'm getting ready to die, I want to know what it feels like to be with someone. So I'm like, oh no, I don't need to see this. Because when Arya first came on the scene, she was like, what, 10 or 12? I don't want to see my baby. I grew up with her. I don't want to see her in this position. I don't want to see a nigga. I don't want to see none of this. Well, they show her naked, and her and Gendry they get it on. And I'll tell you, I understand when kids would be like, they saw their parents and they scarred for life. And I felt that way with Arya. I was like, I can't watch this. Please don't show this. And I'm so glad they didn't get graphic with that, because I did not want to see that. I'm sorry. I'm glad Arya got hers before she get ready to fight. But I was like, I don't want to see it. So that happened. So in the midst of that, Jon is in the crypt, and he's looking at the Stark crypt. And so he's looking at Lyanna Stark, and Daenerys comes in there, and she starts telling a story about, she didn't really quite understand her brother. He, you would hear stories on one end that he was good, and then on the other end, not so good. And then he raped Lyanna, and Jon was like, hold up. Wait, that ain't the way it happened. He pulled the date dog like, wait. So Jon proceeded to check Daenerys politely. He's like, no, that's not the way the story went. He was like, actually, Lyanna and I think it's Targaryen. Oh gosh, I forgot. Ligard. They were in love, and they secretly got married, and they had a child. And on her deathbed, Lyanna's deathbed, she gave that child to her brother Ned. And Ned claimed that child and said that child was a bastard. And he grew up all his life thinking he was a bastard. But in reality, he was the son of Rhaegar and Lyanna. So, Danny been tripping all season. I mean, she was tripping, especially this episode. I can't say all season because we've only had one other episode. But, Danny got some control. Not some. She got control issues for sure. So, when John tells her this news, she's like, well, who told you this? And she was like, Bronn and Sam. And she was like, oh, how convenient. All of a sudden now they got this news. Your best friend and your brother. John was like, it's recorded. Sam read it in a book. And Bronn saw it. Whoever he is, he saw it. So it's true. And I believe it. So Daenerys was not feeling it. And by the time they started continuing to have a conversation about it, people were yelling, the kind of bells went off because now, guess who showed up to the party early, you guys? The Night Walkers, the crew, the head henchmen are there. Now, the Night King is not there. The White King, the Night King, or the Ice King, he's not there. So where is he with the dragon? Because his homeboys are standing there, and where is he? So that's where it ended. But here's my fear. I'm going to go with my fear and then what I would love for to happen. So my fear is there's only 3 people now that know that Jon should be on the Iron Throne. He is the king of, he should be sitting on the 7 kingdoms, the throne. And so my fear is Jon already has to deal with this Night King in this whole war. But now I believe he got a fear for his back. Because Daenerys, if she didn't even like Sansa, if she felt a little threatened by Sansa in her stance in things, which her role trumps Sansa's role, then how you feeling now that it's Jon? I'm scared, you guys. I'm scared. But what Danny don't know is she should be looking at what happened last week when Jon hopped his butt on that dragon. Because them dragons don't let anybody just ride them and touch them. And there's only 2 other people outside of Danny that had touched those dragons, that been that close to those dragons. One is Jon. He done rode one. And the other is Tyrion, which I think he's still some type of kin to both of them. And those are the only 2 people them dragons been near. Everybody else, they can't even get close. They can't even smell them. They see them, but they can't get that close to them. So I say all this. She thinks she got control, and her major control is she got armies and she got dragons. But if you notice, Grey Worm and Melisandre, they are so cute. I love them. They got plans to leave after this war is over. They going back to the beach. They going back to the north. They going back to wherever they came from and live their lives happily and peacefully. That's all they want, because there's no place for them in the South. They already recognize that. So I say all this to say I'm scared of Danny. I'm scared of what she's capable of. And now that nobody, Jon hasn't claimed the throne yet. So now that she's the only one, and Sam and Bronn are the only folks that know, if something happens to Jon, we better hope Sam survives, because we know Bronn is not probably going to survive it. But we better hope 1 or 2 of them survive to tell the story. Because if Danny kills Jon, then that's a wrap. But in the other thing to that is, if Danny is pregnant, guess what? She still is not the heir to the throne. That child becomes the heir to the throne. And I just feel like then we're going to have a Cersei and Joffrey moment where she's behind the scenes pulling strings. She really going to be on the Iron Throne, but it really belongs to this kid. So that's my fear. Now, what I would like to see happen is, in this episode, everybody who's in this episode should be in leadership. Okay, everybody deserves it. So here's what I would like to see. If Jon takes his rightful place on the throne. See, Jon want to lead, but he don't want to lead everything. He can do so much, but he don't want to do it all. Perfect. Sansa could handle the North. Sansa and what's my young lady's name? Let me grab my notes. I'm sorry. Lyanna Mormont. They in the Greyjoys. They could all be part of that group, that North group. And then in the South, you have Tyrion and you have Jaime and you have everybody who came from the South under that leadership. Okay? And then you got the outskirts. You know, you can rebuild the wall, and then you can have Sam over there at the Citadel with the library and making sure all the history is documented. So you got leadership for every area. Jon has that. And I hope and I pray that Jon makes it through this thing so that he can give people what they need, and this is how the kingdom should be run. And anybody who come up against one of us go come up against all of us. If you try to take one out, you might as well just go on bow down, because you gonna be dealt with accordingly. Okay? And that's how I imagine this thing ending. But it's Game of Thrones. Anything is feasible. You just don't know. You just don't know. So that's my take on season 8, episode 2. So I will do this again next week. I'm going to try to keep up with the post. But like I said, I really wanted to do a recap of 1, and I just couldn't get it out in time. But I will try. Moving forward, I will try to be timely. All right, guys. I hope you have a great week, and I will recap next week. Take care. Bye.